Hi guys, this is Tactical here and welcome to another battle replay. Thanks to viewer Hammond sending in his Empire vs Chaos battle, today we'll be looking at some triple War Wagon action, one of which, the Black Lions, War Wagon mounted Hellblaster volley gun. As for the rest of the build, they are pretty much filled with state troops, Tattered Souls, the Regiment of Renowned Flagellants, Sigmar Sons, Unbreakable Swordsmen, and standard state troops, Spearmen protecting some handgunners, a Huntsman here for that anti-large firepower, and some swordsmen on the flank. In the middle, great swords, just being a sturdy front line, protecting the Amethyst Wizard. As for the leadership, we have Boris Todbringer on his Griffin, and that's basically it for the Empire build. As for the Chaos Warriors, we have a front line of just Chaos Warriors, a very sturdy infantry line. At the back, a couple Chaos Knights backing up the infantry. And on each flank, some Marauder Horse Masters, very cost-efficient skirmishing cavalry. And as for the characters, in this guise we have an Exalted Hero on a Manticore, and also Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, coming in with a bunch of magic and also amazing combat stats. No doubt, a very threatening target to deal with. Now let's get the battle started and see how the War Wagons perform, especially these Hellblasters. You don't usually see them in battle, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Now, we'll start the game with a bit of slow-mo as I want to talk about the War Wagons itself. Hammond on the Discord said that this is not exactly a meta army build, as the War Wagons aren't exactly the most popular unit around the Empire roster, but I think this is a very effective counter against the Javelin Cavalry from the Chaos. One thing that makes the War Wagons much better than your staple Pistoliers is their survivability and their ability to counter-punch. As you can see here, they have 90 armor, only 3 models with 1200 HP on each model. That means that they can effectively tank javelin shots and not lose any damage output, as long as none of these units are dead. This makes them much better than the Pistoliers in regards of taking enemy fire, as the fragile Pistoliers will lose models as well as their damage output with every volley of javelin fire. Another thing is that they are fast enough. They're pretty speedy on its own, definitely faster than your foot skirmisher with 50 speed. Yes, they're not as fast as the Pistoliers, but that means they still can keep themselves running and moving, pushing through with their mass, even among a bunch of dogs and maybe Javelin Cavalry. So they're not as susceptible to opponents' mobility, as they can actually survive and extricate themselves from melee combat. And above that, they have much better counter-offensive capabilities than your Pistoliers. With 130 range on these War Wagons, they can counter-shoot these Marauder Horse Masters pretty effectively, while the Pistoliers only 80 range will get outranged and outshot by the Javelins, turning the whole skirmishing cavalry fight into a dangerous dance of back and forth on the edge of their firing range. As for the Black Lions here, you can see they're already opening fire at these Mirror Guard, doing some massive damage. I would say they might be better off shooting into the incoming Chaos Knights. With their armor-piercing missiles, they can really kill off these elite cavalry of the Chaos. On each flanks, you can see that the War Wagons are already counter-shooting the Marauder Horse Masters, picking away models as we speak, while in the middle, a volley of handgunners and Black Lion fire combined did some punishing fire to the Chaos Knights along with the Mirror Guard, dropping both down to half health, and then a Soul Blight further softened up the units of the Chaos. At the back lines, Marauder Horsemen charging into combat against Huntsmen, but the anti-large fire as well as the chip damage from the War Wagons shut down these Marauder Horsemen. On the right flank, over here, Marauder Horse Masters charging into combat against War Wagons. Not exactly a good fight. They are much better off fighting against the handgunners, as they are much more fragile to charges like these. And the War Wagons here, as you can see, just simply don't care, tanking the charge like absolute champs. One thing worth noting about War Wagons is that they actually keep firing in melee combat. Even with Horse Masters tangling them up in here, bogging them down in melee combat, the models up top on the War Wagons are still firing. For other skirmishing components, they'll simply stop shooting after being forced into melee combat, but not the War Wagons. The crewmen are still firing and generating value with their ammo. And with the consistent firepower, both Horse Masters are swiftly routed off. While back in the middle, the Chaos Elite Infantry are grinding down effectively against the state troops. Already swordsmen breaking from afar, the Mirror Guard cutting down spearmen with deadly efficiency despite being only half health. The Great Swords took some damage from the charge from the Chaos Knights, and with Archaon in combat just dishing out damage against these elite swords, the Chaos Warriors are actually winning in this combat. Making things worse, with the one other Chaos Knight actually slipping into the back lines, the handgunners are pretty much shut down at this point, as they will be charging down this handgunners, swiftly moving to the second one, while the Black Lions are moving backwards away from the front line, trying to run away from all these melee units as the front line are no longer holding. Now, the Amethyst Wizard, who dished out some damage with some Spirit Leeches earlier on one of the Horsemaster unit, is now getting hunted down by the double melee heroes, and being only on foot getting knocked over, he is not gonna survive. Or at least he's not gonna have a good time trying to run away. As you can see here, already down to 50% health, not gonna hang around for long. On this far flank, some swordsmen regrouped, and also Boris Todbringer intercepting these Chaos Knights, trying to kill them off before they can join in the fight. But the middle section of the whole army is already collapsing for the Empire. The Black Lions getting hunted down by the Chaos Knights and the Exalted Hero combined. With massive weapon strength, that 90 armor isn't enough to keep them alive. Already only down to 2 models, keep getting chipped by these Chaos Knights. They will take some time before they can recuperate. And in the middle, actually these Great Swords won against the Chaos Warriors, as expected with their anti-infantry armor-piercing attacks, but with Chaos Knights running in, running them down, and also Archaon the Ever-Chosen supporting this fight, they're not gonna stand a chance. But things are not over for Empire just yet. This is where the War Wagons value is coming in. As the frontline collapses, the War Wagons are now starting to shoot and scoot, moving backwards while using their armor-piercing missile to chip away enemy unit models, while these Mirror Guards, infantry, the Chaos Warriors are desperately trying to catch up with the running skirmishers, and now intercepted by Boris Todbringer. If any of these missile units come back, they will promptly get shot to pieces. Unfortunately, the Huntsmen are too far gone now as they have reached the white line. However, the handgunners are coming back clutch. They will start promptly shooting down these Chaos Warriors, and with Boris Todbringer intercepting and bogging these Chaos Warriors into combat, they are basically a bunch of static targets for the firing squads, brutally executed on the battlefield with their backs filled with lead. They will be running for the white line, freeing up Boris Todbringer to go after these Chaos Knights, who are chasing down the War Wagons, who are still quite healthy. On the far side, these War Wagons are not quite so, only down to 1/3 of their HP getting chased by Archaon. They will probably be routing very soon, but of course they are still shooting with their gunpowder into the Chaos Warriors, doing whatever they can to chip away the Chaos units. While back down here, the Chaos Knights and Mirror Guard wisely pulling back, as if they stand and fight Boris Todbringer, the combined firepower of the War Wagons, the handgunners, and also the armor-piercing attacks from Boris Todbringer will easily shut them down. As you can see here, like this Chaos Knights being so low in HP, terrified by Boris Todbringer along with these Mirror Guard, they are heading straight for the white line, not gonna come back. Something's shooting the Exalted Hero. It's actually the one last volley from the Black Lions. A defiant shout against the Exalted Hero and middle finger, but after one volley, they routed off, but still, damage is damage. And with both forces so split up at this point, Archaon busy chasing down the Spearmen and War Wagons on the periphery. Now, Chaos Warriors trying to get back into the middle to consolidate as they are getting hunted down by Boris Todbringer, while Empire, only some War Wagons left, and handgunners very clutch with their return though. And also these over here, Spearmen came back and War Wagons came back, a massive mistake for the Chaos players. These Chaos Warriors are still relatively healthy and far away from Boris Todbringer, so Archaon could have afforded some more time to chase down the War Wagons, shatter the unit, prevent its return to the battlefield, and deny the Empire from its fire support. But alas, it's a bit too late as they have returned to the middle, as these War Wagons are now shooting down, executing these Chaos Knights, who have their backs turned and shields not exactly useful. But at this point, even if they turn around, the shields are not gonna do them much help against the massive volume of fire. And over here, Boris tried to catch Exalted Hero, but wisely pulled away with the Exalted Hero and go diving against the War Wagon. The Chaos player avoided that aerial combat, allowing the Exalted Hero to land and Archaon to support this fight. As Boris is dragged onto the ground, now with both warriors of the Chaos characters just fighting back to back, they will be less easier to get isolated and routed, but that doesn't make a difference to the firing squad as they are now shooting at the Exalted Hero, chipping away the health as they do not have the shield to tank out the damage. Despite the valiant effort made by the Chaos player trying to keep the Exalted Hero alive, the Exalted Hero being so low in health, being shot by the handgunners and hunt down by Boris Todbringer, especially with his deadly onslaught popped, the War Wagons will finish him off with the last few shots. And with the death of one of these Chaos champions, Archaon is left with only Chaos Warriors to protect him. Yes, Chaos Warriors are pretty elite for what they do, but being surrounded by swordsmen, Boris Todbringer still being so healthy, and a bunch of War Wagons now here just basically tar-pitting Archaon, using that mass to pin in the Ever-Chosen. It's kind of awkward for Chaos as the Boris Todbringer does have the initiative right here. He can actively charge into combat pull out as the handgunners are still firing, fulfilling the attacking rule along with the War Wagons engaged in melee combat, so psycho charging is not out of the question. On an overview, the Empire still have a bunch of War Wagons roaming around while the Spearmen are delaying the Chaos Warriors right here, leaving Archaon fighting against Boris Todbringer with minimal support, as the Chaos Warriors over here are busy chasing down the handgunners. And with Boris getting the charge on Archaon, the Ever-Chosen is getting the crap beaten out of him. Not even the returning Chaos Warriors can raise his spirit, as he runs off. Middenheim defeated the Chaos Incursion yet again, defending the Empire from another Chaos invasion. Now that we are at the post-battle screen, I would like to give a big thanks to Hammond. Love your replays, love that off-meta unit showcasing. With War Wagons not being a popular unit, a Chariot with poor melee stats, so it doesn't even fit into the Chariot meta right now, but absolutely clutching the game with their steady DPS, and also by being absolute tanks, surviving waves of enemy onslaught until the late game to dish out the damage, and also charge into melee combat, supporting Boris in the last possible second. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you do, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, as I will be uploading more content on Total Warhammer 2 online multiplayer, including wild replays like this one, or tips and strategies for multiplayer, or just wild army builds. And if you have any replays that you are proud to showcase, feel free to drop by my Discord or send me an email with the replay attached. I'll be sure to check it out and turn it into a video. And yeah, let's have a look at the army performances. For the Empire army, the front line didn't really do any work here, as the Chaos Warriors are just way too elite for them to recover their value. The Great Swords did better, but being hacked by a bunch of Chaos Knights and Archaon the Ever-Chosen, they suffered heavy losses. Now, handgunners, this one I assume was the one that came back and really clutched the gameplay here, with the late game bullet fire routing off the Chaos Knights and Chaos Warriors, did some pretty hefty damage. This one not quite earning back their value, but still 650 is not bad. Huntsmen here getting run over by a bunch of infantry Chaos Knights, so only 550 value, not quite earning back their value. Amethyst Wizard, only one Spirit Leech, but mostly his value is spent on Soul Blight to support the army, so not that much value expected. And the MVP of this game, War Wagons, 1,500, 1,000 value here, both earning a chevron, and also 2 models surviving, 1 model surviving. Really clutching this game right here, with all that steady DPS, bullets shooting down the Chaos Knights, picking away models bit by bit, and shooting down the Chaos Warriors. In the end, also using their tanky wagons charging into combat to just bog down the Chaos Warriors, allowing the Boris Todbringer to have a bit of an isolation against Archaon the Ever-Chosen, getting 2,500 value on his Griffin. Black Lions here earning 1,468 value, pretty decent overall, definitely earning back their worth. The Hellblaster volley guns are just great burst damage against anything, honestly. Against infantry, shot down the Mirror Guard, and then did some pretty hefty damage to the Chaos Knights, this one shutting it down. And while Archaon was engaging in the front line, I didn't really highlight it, but the Black Lions was focusing fire on Archaon, just doing some close range point blank shots, chipping away his HP. That certainly gave Boris an edge in the late game to hunt down a half health Archaon. As for Chaos, the warriors didn't really earn back their value here. This one did, getting 138 kills, but overall not quite good in terms of performance, as the front line of the Empire was relatively cheap, while the missile fire are just too fast for them to catch up on. Even the handgunners can easily outrun the heavy infantry of the Chaos. Mirror Guard, only 469 value, not that good honestly, as they were getting shut down by War Wagons. Chaos Knights, this one gets shut down early, but this one, absolute value city, 1468 as well, running down a bunch of handgunners, chasing off the War Wagons, chipping away their health, and overall doing a pretty solid job. Marauder Horsemasters not earning much value here as they got missed micro. They should have just went into melee, charged into the Huntsmen and Huntgunners. Instead, they charged into the War Wagons, getting bogged down in melee combat against the heavily armored Chariots. There's just too much counterfire from the War Wagons, the Handgunners, and the Huntsmen combined, and they couldn't really get their value here. Archaon the Ever-Chosen, 3,400 value. Definitely carrying the Chaos game on his back, but too bad, all his damage on Boris just getting healed up by his regeneration, and in the end, being a ground force, a horse-mounted character, Archaon was dominated by Boris Todbringer, who was able to charge into combat, extract himself, and charge again with that Griffin Cycle Charge. Exalted Hero here, 1,600 value, not that bad, but just not enough to carry the game, and getting killed in the end, just proving that the Empire missile pressure is just too much for the Exalted Hero to deal with. And that's basically today's video. If you have any comments or ideas about the War Wagons, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section down below. I'll be sure to check it out and respond as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed the video, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Itch, signing out.